All right, so change of plans. If you guys saw last video, I was saying that I'm gonna first edit the previous video, which is day 26, and then work on or then record on day 27. Change of plans. I just finished recording day 26. I'm gonna be recording now because I wanted to just have the footage just in case if anything were to happen. But anyways, like I've stated, if we just start recording here. If you guys saw day 26, I said that this video may be a little bit different than the others because, well, not just for the photo here that I've got, although if you guys just kind of ignore what's going on off to the sides, but believe it or not, I actually planned about this and I actually thought about it. This is the first video I actually have footage of me getting the shot, which is what you guys are going to be seeing right now. It took me roughly, I kid you not, 40 minutes to arrive to this place, which, believe it or not, I think it has something to do with like the cleaning process of a nearby lake slash river slash creek, whatever you want to call it, a dam portion. I'm not sure. This took me roughly 40 minutes to kind of find, and then on my way back home, it was like a 6 minute walk. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but you guys seeing it right now. This is footage that I took on my DJI Osmo Action 4 camera. Kind of the process that or kind of really the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes of how I managed to take this photo. Again, I was gonna take another shot in this location that I thought was gonna be pretty cool, but there was a portion that I didn't want to leave my dog alone, so I just had to abandon it and come back for another video. So as far as with this photo, you may be questioning, why do I have my dog as a subject here? Because believe it or not, no one decided to come along with me, and my dog, since he's just that type of dog that just likes to, go around in any single adventure slash walk that any of us goes to. I'm just not including myself. I'm including also my parents, my brothers, my sister. He's like that. He's like that dog. I don't know. The way how this photo is as far as with like a somewhat leading edge, and this is something I've never done before because I actually went into the tunnel. When you guys saw the footage, I went into the tunnel to take this photo. Granted, I was scared shitless because I thought I was gonna slip and fucking destroy all my camera equipment that I had, because if you guys saw on the footage, I have my camera backpack with me. So I had to be very, very, very careful as far as, not to fall. And then my fucking dog was kind of pushing me, kind of making or kind of tripping me in some portions of the, I don't know if you guys saw on the video, but just on the way there, he was, yeah, he was, I wouldn't say he was much of a hassle, but at the same time, there were moments that it's just a little bit, not gonna say a pain in the ass, but because I love him to death, but yeah, just sometimes a pain in the ass, but it's fine. I don't mind it. So now, what am I gonna do with this photo? Believe it or not, I really don't know. This, like I've said, this is kind of a first for me. I quite honestly don't know what to do with this photo. It's probably gonna be just like last video, as far as just making some tweaks here and there with the colors, not too much change. I probably am gonna have a mask in, not so much for the tunnel or like the tunnel walls, but more specifically where my dog is here in this kind of, I would say, a little bit overexposed portion. I'm gonna try to decrease the exposure so it can kind of be balanced in a way. I don't know. I'm still gonna have to see on how that's gonna go. But as far as with right now, this is a very interesting, personally, I would say, very interesting photo because, like I've stated, this is one photo, a style of photo, or a type of photo that I haven't really had too much practice as far as with really leading lines, right? Again, what was I expecting from this photo? Not too much, because if I had a subject here with me, or I had really anyone to pose, I could have posed myself, but I didn't have my tripod with me. If I had someone else with me on this walk that I came on, I probably could have done something different. But like I've stated, no one didn't, and plus it was, I don't think I would have not blamed anyone if they hadn't come along, because just to reach to this tunnel, it was I wouldn't say it was a journey, but it was kind of a challenge, right? The reason why it took roughly 40 minutes to try to even find this damn tunnel was because I was just wandering around really in my backyard, and then it turned kind of to the woods, and then quite honestly I was in backyards of other nearby houses, so hopefully they didn't call the police on me. But as far as with right now, I think that's how it's gonna be now. Like I've stated, as far as and as I'm kind of editing it, I'm kind of also looking at it. There may not be much changes with tone curve, color mixture, color grading, maybe detail. There's not going to be a lot. If a vignetting, I would not need to, because this already just originally off the bat raw is kind of already a vignette effect already added into, but we're not gonna add in a vignette effect. Again, what were these fucking these write-ins or these words, as far as I can tell you, the one only writing that I really appreciate from this one is this one. Praise Jesus. Yeah, hallelujah, right? But anyways, again, with this one, I really have no plan as far as what I'm gonna do, because again, this is in some way, shape, or form kind of different for me. This is not the typical photo that I think you guys are used to as far as with editing on my channel, right? This is a type of photo that I don't think requires a lot of changes, but we'll still see what we can do, right? What I'm just doing right now is, if you guys saw my histogram, the blacks were kind of, I think, I still don't know what the term is, clipping. I think that's what the term is, clipping. So I just wanted to, on the tone curve here, kind of increase a little bit of the black, so then we don't get a little bit of clipping on the blacks. And I think I've done a pretty good job. Again, to be honest, I think that's really all for tone curve. Again, and with color mixture, not too much change is going to be done here. And maybe even color grading as well. Again, with this photo, as I'm seeing it and as I'm kind of experimenting for the first time, again, because I don't have much, I don't have much knowledge, and I haven't looked at a tutorial on these type of photos. I don't really know what to expect. I really don't know, and quite frankly, I don't have a plan as far as what I'm trying to accomplish with this photo. So it's really all kind of new to me, and you guys are seeing it firsthand as I'm editing and as I'm recording. And I'm really just going to be experimenting with this photo. Again, I don't want to fuck it up too bad, because as it stands, this might actually become a really good photo that it may possibly, again, be on the category as far as that this is probably one of my most favorite photos I've edited. So just off the bat, if we were to look at the raw, although it may be questionable as far as, is that really a good photo? I don't blame you if you thought about that. But this has potential, as I'm seeing it right now. This has possibly potential as far as to become my most favorite edited photo of all time. Maybe not, but I would at least say top 5. Me personally, right? Because again, a new style of photography I tested here in this video. But I think if I move the correct sliders and do some other changes, I think this does have potential to be one of the best edited photos of all time for me, right? And if not, at least I would be happy if this places top 5. All right. So with tone curve, like I've stated, not too much changes. I'm not even gonna touch color mixer, because it's the grand majority of it, it's black. And again, with this overexposed portion, I'm most likely gonna add in a mask to this portion, and I just kind of decrease the exposure. But really, with everything else, I don't think much is needed for, or much is really gonna need to be done for this photo, at least how I see it personally right now. But maybe just tweaking it, really, at this point, like I've stated, experimenting to see what happens. We'll see. we'll see what happens. And if I fuck it up, well, I know where it is. So the next time if I want to go there and retake it, then I guess I would just do that. But that's really kind of the gist of it. Now, my plan is with this photo, I don't want to overdo it. Although I'm already seeing it. I'm overdoing it a little as far as with these midtones, and then maybe even these shadows. Might just decrease ever so slightly. Okay, I think that looks better. Again, personally for me with this photo, I'm kind of leaning more towards the cooler side because I think it kind of fits the aesthetic vibe in a way. I'm not entirely sure, but it just fits personally for me. It fits the tone of this photo because had I probably put my dog in focus, this probably could have came out really nice. But I think, as I remember, I think the more of the sides were coming out in focus. Which, don't get me wrong, if you're into, I wouldn't say really much vandalizing, but if you're into, what's that word? I guess just really art in a way. If you're into that, it's fine, right? But it would have been a little bit better had I properly, you know, I wouldn't say adjusted the camera settings, but if I had properly focused onto my dog, probably would have came out better. But it is what it is. Now, believe it or not, with color grading, I actually kind of really like that. I actually really kind of like that. Again, as far as with this style of photo, I'm not really too sure as far as what you need to do to make it really interesting, but we'll just leave it like that. With detail, I think we're going to do exactly what we did last photo. As far as maybe increase in luminance so it's not as blurry. Again, I wish my dog was in focus because this could have came out really nice. So if I were to come in here, maybe raise up or increase a little bit more luminance. Maybe also increase a little bit more detail. Contrast, maybe very minor, although I don't want to do it too much. Well, we can already see a huge difference. Mostly as I'm seeing it, and especially I learned a lot. Just me experimenting on the last video's photo. Luminance in a way kind of already removes all the noise introduced from the photo. Just if you were to increase luminance, but I'm sure it has some drawbacks that I'm just at the moment probably not noticing or just have no idea that it's really affected. Let's see so I've done some changes with noise reduction. Were they huge changes? If I were to zoom in, were there huge changes? Probably not, although you could see it. Now, believe it or not, as I was looking at it, would this be better if it was cropped? That's the question I'm giving myself right now. Would this be better if it was cropped? No, believe it or not, I personally liked how this came out, and as I've stated that, these, I wouldn't say write-ins, but let's just call it art. Although that's gonna be weird. That's gonna be weird. But anyways, if we were to remove this art and in some way, shape, or form, it kind of makes the photo more unique. Personally speaking, it makes the photo more unique. So with cropping, we're not gonna need it. With masking, I wouldn't do the subject because I'm sure the subject is not gonna be tracked. Oh well, you can do that, but I think I have a better solution. If we were to do background, which obviously it affects everything but the middle. And if I were to, believe it or not, if I were to actually decrease it in a way, I think it'd actually be a little bit better. Maybe a slight increase also with contrast. So make it a little bit more pop, some way, shape, or form. Maybe. Okay, I wasn't planning on doing this because I just planned on having just simply one. Just with inverting the background so then it can get the exposed portion, but I think I'm just going to do minor changes since I'm already here, right? So again, very minor. We is it for the better? Maybe not. I wouldn't be surprised if Okay, very minor changes. I'm not sure if anyone would really notice it, but let's just leave it for right now. But for right now, we would put another background and then invert. Now, is that the same as far as just with the subject? Maybe, but we'll personally just leave it like that. Now, what we can do is lower the exposure. Okay. All right. I think I actually like how that is. Yeah, if we were to hide it was very much way too overexposed. So now we kind of have it a little bit under control. Now, what else can I do? Maybe an increase with contrast, maybe. Highlights. Okay, I wouldn't want to remove all the light that there is, but maybe just a slight decrease with highlights. Again, the histogram has been more towards the on the left side, which is basically implying that this photo in some way, shape, or form as a whole is a little bit underexposed, but we'll leave it like that. I think we'll leave it like that. And actually, as I'm looking at it, maybe if I were to increase a little bit more of the highlights or just leave it as it was, if I were to leave it, I think that would have been good. So we'll do that. Maybe even, no, we're going to leave the exposure how it is. What we are going to do, however, is maybe, not the blacks. We wouldn't want to do that. What else could we add in? Maybe just a slight decrease onto the whites. Okay, I haven't done it before and after, so we're gonna actually do it right now. So what if we were to go from here and do it before and after? Okay, again, not too many changes. I think the more noticeable change that we've done so far is just mostly decreasing the exposure for the end of the tunnel. Maybe you could see a little shift in saturation or a little increase in saturation because again, like I've stated, as far as with this photo, I'm not I wouldn't say I'm prepared. I'm not prepared for this photo, but at the same time, I really don't know what style or what technique would serve this photo best. Because again, like I've stated, I'm really just experimenting. But I think so far, for at least my first attempt with this, I think it's not too bad. But let's just see what else we can add on to this. Now with the background, as I'm seeing it, because I don't want to overexpose it a lot, because it's gonna look relatively weird. So I don't want to really much do that. Maybe if we were to raise up the temperature maybe a little bit. Okay, how would? Okay, I think I actually like how that came out, so we're gonna leave that be. Is tint gonna serve us well in this photo? So as I'm looking at it, maybe not. So we're just gonna leave it as it is, or as it is, or how it was. Saturation that we've already kind of added or increased on the basic section, so there's really no need to do it yet again on the mask. Any other changes I were to add on to this? All right, so first I realized that it was kind of getting a little bit dark in because I have my blinds open and it was kind of getting dark and I decided to turn on the lamp. It may affect the video or not, but I think we should be good. All right, so really the only change that I did is I kind of made a little adjustment, a little, I wouldn't say S, more like, what would you say? More like an M in some way. An M curve for this. I think personally speaking, I think it made it a little bit better. I think so. I think we should be good. But believe it or not, I looked at it, and again, mostly just on the fact that I'm really just experimenting. I don't think there's really any more changes to be done with. So if we do one final before. All right, so in all, was there much change to begin with? Probably not. But personally speaking, I actually really liked how it came out. Now, I did say, is this possible to become my, at least in the top 5 most favorite photos I've edited so far? As it stands right now, I don't know. It may be questionable. It's definitely unique and definitely something that's probably gonna catch more the viewer's attention than the other photos I've done in the past. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure. But maybe as it stands, I don't know. Maybe I have to really sit on it, kind of marinate it for me, and maybe hopefully in the next analysis video, which I don't want to say it's soon, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's soon. Maybe, who knows, I may have a different opinion. But to be honest, as far as with right now with this photo, I think, believe it or not, that is gonna be it. For my first attempt in this somewhat new style of photography, and I wouldn't even know what would you call this specifically, but just mostly as far as with being inside of a tunnel, taking the photo, really editing it, I think this is a good start for me, personally speaking, right? Again, maybe what I should have done is maybe prepared myself a little bit more and maybe looked at a tutorial on to see in these type of scenarios what would work best for editing. But in some way, shape, or form, I kind of wanted to test myself. I wanted to experiment myself, and I wanted to see what I can come up with as far as making this photo different than how it is. Again, beforehand, I want to say it was a bad photo, but I think it was okay. But then go on to the changes, and I think we made it somewhat better. Again, as far as with color correction, contrast, exposure, those are really the big changes we made for this photo. Not so much for the walls of the tube, but more in the, I guess, in the center of where the photo is, which would, I'm calling it the inverted background because that's what I used to get in, or subject, any other way. That's really, I think, personally speaking, where the biggest changes came in. As far as with everything else, although it was very minor and maybe even a little color correction, quote unquote, I think I did pretty good for at least my first attempt with this style of photography. Again, I'm sure for the next time I'll do a better job, and maybe hopefully I'll have a subject instead of using my dog, because I mean, if you guys see, he was all over the place if you guys saw the footage. So, and believe it or not, that is gonna be it. It may be a different style of maybe video, maybe photo that you guys aren't used to, but this is kind of, well, I'm not going to talk about the photo, but as far as with adding in the extra footage from my action camera, that is definitely something that I want to start implementing on, hopefully to every single photo, or I'm sorry, every single video. As far as the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes, what I do as far as, taking the photo and what it stands, that's kind of something I want to really add on to my videos moving forward. Of course, if I take a photo every single day, and of course, if we're gonna be including work schedule, that's gonna play a big role as well. I'm not gonna be able to. I'm not gonna be able to go out like in this video, go out every single time with my action camera and take photos, as I would like that to happen. Maybe on the weekends I can, but maybe on the weekdays, that's it's gonna be, I'm gonna say right now, it's uncertain, because again, with work and then with other tasks I may need to accomplish just on my personal life, it may be a challenge. That's all what I'm really gonna say. But I personally, like I've stated, with this photo, and hopefully with this video for you guys, something different, probably something that you're not used to, but I still wanted to include it because again, this is gonna be the, what would you call this? I guess the replacement in a way of my loss, or my compensation from my loss of the daily uploading journey. But again, I've kind of already talked about it in my last video. Hopefully, we should continue on with another period. And if that happens, I personally will be happy because, like I've stated last video, it really brought me a lot of joy in that 2 weeks that I was daily uploading. But I don't want to talk about it again because, like I've stated, I've already talked about it in the last video. But that's really all what's gonna be for today for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, something unique, but I still hope you guys enjoyed it. I thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow on day 28.